Chapter 1. Put My Grandson Down. The heat of late summer in the Richard Allen homes did not just sit on you. It pressed down like a hand that had no intention of letting up. The concrete held the day's fire long after the sun went down, and the buildings gave it back in waves. Through open windows, blue television light flickered against brick and rusted railings. Arguments rose and fell somewhere in the distance. Laughter answered from another direction. A radio played Marvin Gaye low enough to feel more than hear, the music moving through the night like smoke from a corner cookout. Inside apartment 3B, the kitchen was the center of the universe. Onions hissed in hot grease. Garlic opened sharp in the skillet. Meat stewed low and rich on the stove. Pots rattled. Cabinet doors slapped shut. A stack of chipped plates sat beside a cutting board, scarred from years of work. The room smelled like hard times dressed up as dinner, like survival refusing to look defeated. Jessie Mae ruled that space. She was broad-shouldered and unbowed, the kind of woman who seemed carved out of endurance. Her skin caught the yellow kitchen light and held it. She moved with the economy of somebody who has spent a lifetime making something out of not enough. Nothing slipped past her, not a child drifting too close to the stove, not a spoon dropped on the floor, not a man standing in the doorway too long with his coat still on, acting like he had not yet decided whether to come in or back out. She carried herself like a woman who had already chosen what side she was on. Jessie Mae had been a Black Panther. She believed black people needed more than prayer and patience. They needed knowledge, discipline, pride, and the nerve to defend what was theirs. She taught all her grandchildren about the great kings of Africa, from the posters she kept around the house, those regal black faces staring down in crowns and armor, reminding us that our bloodline did not begin with struggle. It began with greatness. She would point to them and teach with the seriousness of a woman passing down scripture. Names, kingdoms, power, dignity. She wanted her grandchildren to know that history had tried to shrink us, but we had not started small. Apartment 3B was more than an apartment. It was a refuge, a business, a kitchen, a bar, a meeting place, a witness stand, and sometimes a courtroom. The neighborhood came there for a plate and a drink. Men clustered around the table, talking in low voices, making deals in half sentences and side glances. Women leaned against the walls with plastic cups in hand, reading the room the way some people read the morning paper. Money changed hands quiet and fast. Everybody knew the rules. You paid for the food, you paid for the drink, and you paid respect to the woman whose house you were standing in. Jessie Mae's word was the only law that mattered in 3B. In the living room, the radio kept its soulful vigil. Aretha came through the speaker full of command and ache, asking for respect like she already knew she was owed it. The horns lifted the room. Afros brushed the edges of door frames. Hands landed easy on shoulders. Names were called out across the apartment like ropes, tying people to one another in a city that tried daily to cut them loose. Black joy bloomed stubborn in those cracks. It was a space the rest of America did not care to make, so the people made it themselves. Children moved through the forest of legs the way children in crowded houses always do, quiet, low, quick. They were already learning how to be present without getting in the way, already learning how to see everything and say very little. But one small boy moved through the room like he owned the floor. He was barely 2 years old, still round with baby softness, still walking with that fearless wobble that only belongs to children who feel safe. He toddled between knees and chair legs, catching his balance on denim and leather with tiny fingers. He moved with the complete trust of a child who believed the world around him was built to hold him. A man noticed him. He was tall and loose-limbed from the whiskey, his body relaxed, in the careless way liquor can make a man feel larger than his judgment. His eyes were bright with that dangerous good humor that lives just on the edge of something mean. He bent down and scooped the boy up with one arm, lifting him high like a trophy the room had forgotten to admire. The child squealed with delight. Conversations faltered, heads turned. For 1 second, it looked harmless. a laughing child in a room full of grown folks, a little joy breaking through the heat. Jessie Mae turned from the stove. "Put my grandson down." Her voice was not loud. It did not need to be. It crossed the room the way truth does when it knows it does not have to argue. The man grinned wider. "He all right, Miss Jessie. Look at him laughing." He bounced the boy on his forearm. Jessie Mae did not move. "Put my grandson down." A few people looked away. A few kept watching. The laughter in the room thinned out and did not come back. One of the women near the wall lowered her cup. One of the men at the table shifted in his chair and leaned back, giving the moment room to become what it was becoming. But whiskey makes some men deaf. The man tossed the boy lightly into the air. The child shrieked and giggled, trusting the hands beneath him, trusting the room, trusting gravity itself to do right by him. The man caught him. A couple of nervous smiles flickered and disappeared. Nobody was amused now. They were waiting to see if he had enough sense left to hear the warning for what it was. Jessie Mae turned back toward the cutting board. Her knife found its rhythm again. Chop, chop, chop. But she was not cooking anymore, not really. Her body stayed in the kitchen, but her eyes fixed on the dark window above the sink, catching the room behind her in reflection. "Put him down before you drop him." The sentence landed different that time. It was no longer a request. It was a door closing. The man laughed it off. He tossed the boy again. A little higher. He caught him again. The child laughed, then reached for him, like this was all part of the game. The man tossed him once more. This time he was too loose, too slow, too proud of the room watching him. The boy rose into the air. For one suspended instant, he seemed to stop there, hanging between hands and floor, between delight and danger. His smile slipped. His eyes widened. Not pain yet, just confusion. The first small crack in trust. Then gravity claimed him. He hit the floor hard. The sound was dull and terrible. Then came the scream. It ripped through the apartment, raw and animal. The pure sound of pain before language gets to it. Everything stopped. The radio kept playing, but now it sounded far away. Nobody reached for a drink. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved to comfort the man. Nobody moved to explain anything. The room froze around the child's cry. Jessie Mae set one knife down. Then she changed her mind. She took both. The blades that had just been slicing onions were suddenly no longer kitchen tools. Or maybe they had always been more than that. In houses like that, in neighborhoods like that, the line between feeding and defending was thinner than outsiders ever understood. She crossed the floor. The crowd parted without a word. The man turned toward her with both palms up, excuses already gathering at his mouth. But panic had come too late. His grin was gone now. In its place was the first clear look of a man realizing he had mistaken warning for conversation. Jessie Mae closed the distance in 3 steps. The first thrust was short and precise. Not wild, not frantic. Close work, certain work. The blade met him and went in with a wet resistance that made the whole room flinch inside itself. His mouth opened, but whatever he meant to say never fully made it out. She pulled free and struck again. Same rhythm, same control. The same hands that had cut food, straightened collars, pointed at African kings, and taught children to stand tall. Now moved with a purpose older than the room itself. He staggered backward, then folded. She followed him to the floor. Nobody moved to stop her. Not because they loved violence, not because they were shocked, still. They stood still because they knew what had entered the room. This was not rage without shape. It was law of another kind, the law of a generation that had already lost too much, buried too many, and trusted no one else to guard what belonged to them. She straddled his chest, and the knives rose and fell. Steel flashed under the yellow kitchen light. Blood spread fast across the linoleum, running into the shine of grease and the dust of old footsteps. The air turned metallic, copper cut through onion, smoke, whiskey, and meat. Somewhere, a woman covered her mouth. Somewhere else, A chair scraped back and then stopped. No one touched Jessie Mae. No one interrupted judgment. She stopped only when his body stopped answering. For a brief second, the room was silent except for the radio and the child's crying. Jessie Mae stood with both knives hanging at her sides, blood slipping from the tips in narrow lines. Then she turned away from the man and toward what mattered. The boy. He was still on the floor, crying in broken bursts, stunned and hurting, and too young to understand how close joy had just come to disaster. Jessie Mae knelt, set the knives aside, and gathered him into her arms. That changed the room more than the stabbing had. A moment earlier, she had looked like judgment itself. Now she looked like what she had been all along, a grandmother, a protector, a woman who had drawn the line exactly where she believed it belonged. She pulled the boy against her chest, blood smeared across his little shirt and one side of his face. She rocked him slow and steady, whispering into his ear words nobody else could hear. Whatever she said belonged only to him. The child's screams softened to sobs. The sobs broke into whimpers. Then breath. Then the exhausted silence that comes when a child finally believes he's being held by something stronger than fear. By morning, the apartment would be scrubbed clean. The dishes would be washed. The blood would be gone except for the places blood never really leaves. The crowd would scatter back into the city. The music would stop. The story would begin moving from mouth to mouth, from kitchen to kitchen, from one set of family ears to the next, picking up weight every time it was told. Jessie Mae would slip back into Philadelphia like smoke, but the story would stay. And in that family, stories like that did not die. They waited.